I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay, so how this works, Kundalini, is different than other kinds of yoga, which is stretching, working the muscles and stuff. This works a lot with breath, and it goes right into your endocrine system, your glandular system. So you're working with energy, and the most primal energy of your body is your digestion and your sexual energy. The digestion of everything, your ability to digest food, and to digest information, to digest your environment or not. It either fits with you or doesn't. And then if you're healthy, then to carry on the approach and see your children. That's your two biological, the biggest energy gifts you've been given in the world. Feed yourself and then carry on. So that's where we work. We work with those two basic energies and learn to capture it and use it for other than digestion or sexual energy. And then we move that up through the nervous system to gain control of the nerves and the brain, thinking brain. That's kind of it in a nutshell how it works. The way you do that is with pressure. So this class was kind of sold as a class on stress, and it is stressful. Hussein asked me today when we were driving here, what was more stressful, Cairo or when I was in the war in Sarajevo? And I had to thought about that, and I thought, you know what? This place is. Because a war, everything's blowing up. It's like the worst has happened. And so it's kind of like there's a relief that I'm still alive. But here, nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Whether it's going to fall apart tomorrow or it's going to get better. And you just walk down the street, and if you're a sensitive person, you feel it. And so I live in two different parts. This is kind of a middle-class neighborhood, and then the rest of the time I live in a more lower-class neighborhood, and people really tense there. And in Ramadan, there's like fights down the street and stuff, and just people letting anger and all this stuff coming up, which is supposed to happen when you fast. But I don't think they give me very good directions to how to handle all that. What all that is you call them nefs. What nefs really are events in your life that you haven't fully worked out. So it'll become, you'll have an event, and then when that event happens, you make a decision about what it means to you and how you've learned from that, and then you lock that into your subconscious and you carry on. And then it has something to do with how you make your decisions from then on. So, as opposed to choice. So, like a nef is a habit. But habits are given to us not just by ourselves. Habits are passed down to us by our culture, by our parents, by the old mythological stories of our culture, by having a body in this world, and it happens when it's very young sometimes. So you don't have a choice. In this yoga, it's important to make a choice and start off with choice. You start with choice, we end with choice, because there's a lot of information that is not part of mainstream society, and they wouldn't say it's scientific. what we call it faith. And that means there's a lot of vision, imaginary exercises that you do along with the exercises that have a purpose, because you're not just exercising the body, you're exercising the mind. And the way you exercise the mind is by visualizations. In other words, you can't let the mind just go spacing out. I did this for years. Nobody taught me this, so I had to learn the hard way. I would do the postures and do all that stuff, but my mind was thinking about 20 different things. You know, look at all the people and all that stuff. And you're not supposed to do that, because you're gathering energy. So in this Kundalini energy, think of it as a pressure carbonated drink. And you shake it up, and pressure builds. And by holding it in, by holding pressure, pressure turns to heat. So it's a common law of physics. And then heat, if held long enough, turns to light. Fire breaks out of fire. It breaks out of fire. So what you're trying to do is the nefs have a biological component in you. In other words, when you form a habit, is all it is a chain, a chemical chain in the brain that's set up in a certain way. The chemicals are the same, the sequence is always different. And that forms your thoughts. So in order to break that up, you use heat. In yoga it's called tapa. Tapa means psychic heat. And the pattern, which you call nefs, in India they call sanskara. And the image they give is the ocean pounding on the shore for millions of years, and it hits it in the same way, the same times, and it builds groove, cuts the rock. So that's what a neph is. It's like a habit. It's passed down. It's been there so long, and we've been thinking in a pattern for so long, it forms a groove in the actual neurology of the brain. And then you can't get out of that. Even when you know you're doing that, your pattern is locked in there. So the yoga is the physical part of changing that. And actually changing the neurology, changing the sequence of the genes, changing the sequence of the amino acids and the structure of the nervous system, and breaking up old platforms, old patterns. And we do that by heat, capturing heat and then moving the heat to different parts of the body. So you have emotional trauma in here, you have emotional trauma here, you have emotional trauma in your organs, all different parts of the body. And but it's all controlled by the brain. So in this yoga, we work a lot. This is what's called an upward flow class. There's two basic classes, an upward flow and a downward flow. So upward flow means you have, anybody heard the word homunculus? Homunculus? I thought you would. Homunculus means a little monster. And it's a term for the brain. Like when you look at acupuncture charts of the ear and stuff, and it shows the whole body. So they want to stimulate your eyes. It's like if you see a picture of it, it's a whole body. So it's a little body. So the brain is like that too. The brain controls every part of the body. So it's a little monster is what it means. So you can control everything down there in your toes, legs, everything along your glandular system by hitting certain spots in the brain. And then it's much easier to handle the body later. Where in Hatha Yoga, you start with the body. But we start with breath, taking all the energy, the stress of the day, just living here and stuff. And you grasp it. You cut yourself off from the early part of the day, whatever you did when you came in here, leave it. Don't worry about what you're going to do when you leave. So we're building this little pressure cooker here. Everything happens in the now, brand new. And as we do that, it'll create heat, and then that heat is what goes in there and starts changing things on the inside. Aiming it by different techniques, breath, and a lot of sound. It's how you aim it to a certain part of the body. It's usually sound. So the task for, where does she go? To the bathroom?
No, it's to pray. To pray last.
Did anybody else need to pray?
No. She forget to pray.
How long is she going to pray?
One night.
Okay, this is important she gets this.
Okay, you can go.
So your job is to concentrate. The way you hold the pressure in is to concentrate. When I give you a visualization to do, you don't let the mind wander. So it's impossible to do, but you're trying to not think through the whole class. Because thinking is you're thinking the carbonated drink, you're building up the pressure. You've got to hold that pressure to build the heat. And if you start thinking, it's like popping the top off. And you're going to lose all the pressure. That's what thinking does. So we do a lot of exercises. In fact, in Kundalini Yoga and healing and acupuncture, schizophrenia is considered too much heat in the head. Heat rises and it causes thinking. And you can't, you've got no control of it. You don't direct it. It's just blah, 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 blah. And then you're picking up everybody else's images and thoughts and what everybody else is worried about. And you're looking at billboards on the freeway and you're thinking about all that. And you're connecting into big, vast networks of stuff that isn't part of you. And you have no choice. You lose your choice. You're doing somebody else's thinking. So here, you're choosing to say, okay, here's the imaginary breath. Breath in the beginning, this is a spiritual practice. It's not just yoga. It's not, you're not just blowing air around. In the beginning, before Islam, before Christianity, before Judaism, the people in the desert called prana, air, Allahakuha, the sacred breath. Look. The breath that moves everything, moves the planets, moves the energy through the body. So when we're breathing, you're not just taking in air, you're taking in the force that gives life to everything on this planet. So part of the job is to remember that, not be thinking, okay, what happens is people will do the class and they do the exercises, their mind's wandering off somewhere, they're not thinking of these things, and they wait till the end to see if relaxation is going to come. It doesn't work like that. You have to be present in what you're doing at each step and making a choice to be present. That I am taking in. I'm suspending the idea that the world gives you that the importance is all this out here. and you're making a choice like, get this out of the room, and for this amount of time, the most important thing is where you're focusing your energy, and you're focusing your energy on Allah. You're taking in the breath of the universe. So you try and do that through the whole class, and you don't let the mind wander. That's your primary duty in the class, is the amount of energy that's built up depends on how well you concentrate. And it's that energy that we're going to use to start opening all the movements of the body, all the places of the block, all the nefs. We just consider them roadblocks. And you have to develop the energy by concentration to break through those. So if the concentration is bad, you don't have the power to move through all that stuff. If it's good, even in one class, you can go through a lot of material, breaking up old patterns and old habits and stuff. And that's our goal here. For the reason of that once that's open, then you have a new relationship with Allah. That it's an alphabet, it's information, it's new energy, it's new life force, it's new ideas. It informs you about your personal life and informs you about how to go ahead into the future. And it's there all the time, but we don't listen because we're moving so fast. We're moving at society speed, and we're moving at the speed of these ideas in our head that were given to us by someone else. And so we're not fully who you are, your soul, without all that information, is not completely making a connection with Allah. So we're not getting the full hit. And it can happen like that. So what we do in this class is we start moving stuff out of the way. And the primary way of doing that is heat. That's what they call Kundalini heat. It rises up in the head, and when you lose control of it, you're just thinking. So we're going to take that all the time. We're going to keep pushing it down. Heat wants to rise. That's it's called Qi in Chinese. Li is your mind. So with your mind, you're controlling it. Its natural tendency is to spread out. So the first visualization we use is a sphere. The whole class we work within a sphere. And that gives you the idea of containing your energy. So we're going to work like for an hour and a half. And we're going to keep building up energy, and it wants to spread out. So you have to contain it. And it keeps building up and keeps building up. And then at the end of the class, then you've got a nice charge of energy to start moving through the different parts of the body. It's very simple. There's hundreds of yoga postures and stuff, but here we just do the basics. You're trying to open your 5 limbs, your 2 legs, your 2 arms, and your head. And we'll do exercises to do that, use the heat going through that. And then all the rest of the yoga is just a variation of that. All the weird postures and all that stuff, there's a variation of opening the 5 limbs, 2 legs, 2 arms, and the head. So you've got to have the heat, you've got to have the concentration. This is I usually teach classes like I'm teaching teachers, so I'll explain a lot. The 2 primary classes are upward flow class, downward flow class. We did a downward flow class last night. The reason you use them is an upward flow class is when you're really trying to work letting go of the subconscious, a lot of subconscious material, or you want to go more deeply into prayer and go into what they call the heaven worlds, or when your life here on earth is just too nuts and you want to get out, you want some fresh space, you go up. And you can learn to just turn all this off. I said last night, really well-trained yogi, you can like shoot a gun off by their head, and they won't even hear it. So you can get that much control over your senses that you can just know all the sound. And then you're just there in pure thought, communicating with Allah, asking clear questions from your will and hearing the answers. Like I said, that's all the time, but this is so noisy and it's a frequency that's so fast. So what we're doing is we're slowing down the frequency of everything, our brain, our nervous system, our breath, the speed of the breath, the speed of the heart. And that pulse up here is very slow, very easy and slow. The pulse of the society is static. It's built upon fear and greed, trying achievement. There's no room for being, stopping. Taking the past, projecting it into the future, worrying about the past, hoping for the future, all that. But Allah is only experienced in the now. So it's very important to control the thoughts. Once we control the thoughts, then we can control the whole rest of the body. Downward flow class, so that's for meditation, giving information. And when you're really stressed out, you can just go, it's like, if you get good at it, it's like going to another planet and just sitting out there for a couple hours. Downward flow class is when you have to work in the world and you have to accomplish in the world, you have to be grounded, you have responsibilities. But you want to do it in a calm way. And that energy that you have in the up, the peacefulness and the expansion, you can take that same peacefulness and expansion and actually move it down through the physical body. So the rest of the body feels almost like it's floating. And then you center it here, you lock it in the belly. This becomes your center. So like all good martial artists, all dancers and stuff, they move from the belly. So as you move about your day, you create an energy field of heat around you, and the sphere, if you get really good at this sphere is my energy. I don't care what happens outside that sphere in the world, that's their business. They can worry about nuclear bombs and financial collapse and all that stuff. But in here, that's your world. And you create it. And you don't allow that to come in. So there's kind of a martial aspect to this. This type of yoga was taught to warriors thousands of years ago in India. And the idea when they have to fight, arrows are coming at you and swords and stuff. So it's an idea about having a shield. And I'm keeping the shield so I don't let that in. So there's no arrows and all that stuff coming at you anymore. And what's coming at you is thoughts. And people's manipulation, trying to control your mind, to buy this, do that, worry about this, don't think about this, think about this. You want all that out. So it's just direct. You to Allah, no middle person. That's the goal. And with that as the intention, that's what you'll get. If you do the class with sincerity, you try and hold your attention to the whole thing. And then finally, the downward, you lock it into the physical world. And you can go into the world, it's still going to be noisy and all that stuff, but you'll keep your calm. And it'll be your energy field. In other words, the world doesn't push you into a corner anymore. You push back. You start changing the world around you. That's what I mean by it's a martial kind of philosophy of this class. It's not Buddhism. It's not acceptance. You don't accept anything. You change. If there's something wrong in your body, you change it. You work. You use your willpower. And if you get good at that, if there's something in the world that is taking away your peace, you change that. The upward flow is I don't mean it's willpower exclusively. There's a time for acceptance, a time for passiveness, but there's also a time for action. a balance of both. But the first step you do is you separate yourself from all this, the unruly static energy of your society. So it's not a philosophy of us against them, but in the beginning, that's how you capture the energy. You're building a container to cook in. And then at the end, just send it back out and go back into oneness. The energy you got in the world, you bless the world. We're not trying to become a separate group. This is just cooking instructions, that's all. So downward flow class locks that into the physical world. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to go up. Just because. So, I think I've said everything you need to know, philosophically to know. Capture the energy, concentrate. Try through the whole class not to let your mind wander. And I'll keep reminding you of that. And that's all I need to say right now. Okay. I'm sitting up straight. Don't want you sitting against the wall. Because you need to use your back muscles. You need to use your stomach muscles. It's part of activating. You're building muscles, settling. You're building posture. Yoga's all about posture. I used to be a chiropractic doctor and I'd crack people's backs and stuff, and I quit. You can't cure anybody. It's just taking temporary pain out and stuff. But a person has a bad back, the only way you can correct that is posture. They have bad posture. So when you're learning sitting up like that, you're using all these muscles here and here and the sides that just sitting still for 10 minutes and stuff will start building those muscles and it'll change your posture. So we're doing that too. If your legs start to hurt, go ahead and move them. You can put them out. You don't have to stay cross-legged the whole time. It shouldn't be painful. But try and keep doing the exercise even with your legs out. So the first imaginary exercise is the sphere. You're in the sphere. When you breathe, imagine that the sphere is like a balloon. As you're inhaling, it's expanding out, exhaling back. All around is a balloon. They use this a lot in China and martial arts to develop it's called spherical breathing, spherical awareness, to develop a sense of feeling behind you, almost seeing behind you. This is all developed by this spherical breathing. Okay, another imaginary exercise for this one. You're familiar with acupuncture and meridians, and the Chinese call it meridians. They're flows in the body, and you stick the needles in them and stuff. That's how energy flows through the body. And you're going to start to become aware of them. There's two main ones on either side of the spine. And in the beginning, it's just your imagination. If you were to do this every day for like 10 days, you would begin to feel the actual flow. The only way that opens up, that ability, is by doing this in imagination for a few days and with the breath. So the first thing you're doing is imagining a hole on the top of the head, and it's coming down the left side of the spine all the way down to the ground. So as you inhale, the breath's going down. and exhale comes back up that hole. That's all you imagine. You're in the sphere is expanding, the breath's coming up and down, and you remember each breath is alahaduha. Each breath is fresh prana, fresh brand new life force. So that's a lot to think about. Sphere, bliss, and remembering, try to go back into the moment each breath. There's no reason for the mind to be wandering. If you're really doing all those things, the mind won't wander. Okay? But if it does wander, as all you do is, for this next hour that we work, do not get involved in the content of the story. Whatever the brain is throwing out there, save for after class. Just like, okay, I'm thinking, and then go back to feeling. You're trying to feel through the whole class, not think. But sometimes you'll get lost in all these stories and not even know you're doing it. And as soon as you notice, just note thinking. If that does happen, for beginners, it's not a bad thing. This, I keep saying in the classes, this is not about any kind of perfection. It's about awareness. So when you do a lot of breathing exercises in the beginning that show you how much you space out. And you think we do like a half an hour breathing exercise, and I tell you how much do you focus and how much do you space out. So that you get an idea. And then the awareness will change that. You'll get better and better over like 3 or 4 days just by noting how much you're spaced out. Well, you don't even notice that before. That's kind of how these exercises work. They're to give you an awareness of what is. Sometimes you'll have pains and blocks in the body that you don't even know are there until you do, they're called kriyas, until you do that. So if it feels bad or you're spacing out and you're thinking stuff, that's what's supposed to happen. It's giving you awareness. And then you'll see the next day you get better at it, the next day you get better at it. So don't worry if you're off spaced out for the whole thing. There's no right or wrong in this. That's fine. So that if people come in and they haven't heard the instructions, still people learn by osmosis. You know the word osmosis? You know osmosis? You're a scientist, you should think. It's how cells in the body communicate with each other. It's like they send out chemicals and it goes right through the cell into the other cell, back and forth. So everything you just learned, she'll get it. Except this part I got to explain. We're going to start, this isn't just physical, we start with imaginary exercises too. Imagination is to learn to keep the mind from wandering. So it's important. You're trying through the whole class not to let the mind think. It's impossible to do, but you're trying. So the image that we use for keeping your energy and your thoughts contained is a sphere. The sphere goes underground, all around you, and the center is the navel. So as you're breathing, you're trying, every time you start thinking, just go back to the breathing. Remembering that each breath is alahaduha, it's not just wind. It's the life force that feeds all of creation. You can remember that's what you're taking in here. You're choosing to do that and say, okay, I'm not going to listen to society. I'm making my own rules here. And then the other imaginary exercise is in order to open the flows in the body, the way energy moves to the body and meridians. You imagine you've got a hole on the top of your head. Comes down the left side of the spine. As you inhale, the breath's going And then exhale back up. That's all you do. So you imagine as you're inhaling, the sphere around you opens like a balloon, and it fills up, and then on your exhale it collapses. And then this breath's going down this channel. And remembering it's life force, new inspiration, new energy, new life force. So you can do it with that. I just had to fill a lot of time to tell you about baloney, but that's the instructions. Okay, inside your sphere. These are 5 minutes. So if your legs get sore or anything, don't worry, just put them out. It shouldn't hurt at all. If your legs get tight, and you can't sit for more than 5 minutes. Alright? Come sitting up straight. Now against the wall, use your muscles. Okay, close off your right nostril in your sphere. Again, long, slow, deep breaths through the left nostril. Coming down. Feel the breath all the way up into the collarbones, way up in the shoulders, way up here. Take as much breath as you can. Communicate with Allah, Buha, any way you want, any mantra you want. You can just inhale Allah, exhale Hu, anything, any way you want to keep the mind steady. Full deep breath, stay in your sphere, relax your shoulders, and relax your jaw. Each breath you're taking in fresh, brand new life force. There's a lot of stale life force and energy in the city, but there's also a lot of brand new energy too, made from green plants, trees. You're choosing to believe that you can actually call in the positive. The body's always taking in new energy, and it's always letting go of old energy. And don't worry about letting go of the old energy. You focus on taking in the new, and the old energy will take care of itself as you exhale. So the important thing here is to cut yourself off from the day and the city around you. And you're creating a sphere. You're creating your own little temple around yourself. You're creating your own reality inside that temple. You're making boundaries with the city, the energy out there, everything that it tries to teach you. And inside your bubble, your sphere here, you're taking in Allah, Ruha, the energy that made all creation, that moves the whole universe in perfect harmony, moves your body. So in your sphere, you're creating room for new possibilities, new ideas, new dreams, new blood, the ability to make those dreams. And you're choosing to focus on that. Mind starts wandering, just bring it back. So if you're thinking, oh, I feel tight, this is kind of weird, this is silly. Does this work or not? All that kind of stuff. Forget all that. Just breathe. Full, complete breaths. Okay, inhale the breath. Hold. Hold the breath. Lower your arm. Lower your arm. Relax the shoulders. Inhale more. Hold. Still in your sphere, no thinking. Lower your arm. Inhale more. In your sphere, the center of the sphere is the navel, belly button. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Slight smile to the face, that opens the jaw, opens to the bones in the skull. Inhale more. Let the body move if it wants, or sometimes it shakes as the energy builds up. The muscles know what they have to do to let go, and sometimes they move kind of slow and snake-like, sometimes they pop, sometimes they shake. Inhale more. But you keep your concentration in the sphere and in the center of the belly button. As the oxygen starts to interface with the blood, you start to relax, the heart will relax more. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You breathe normally and just feel your body. Just feel the difference. You did 5 minutes of breathing. So in other words, you're taking in information. If it's tight, or if it's loose, or if you've got a sore shoulder, a sore knee, whatever, there's no right or wrong, just see how you feel. See how you felt different than before you did the 5 minutes. The information becomes very valuable to you later on. You feel more calm. Okay, relax.
The pain starts to move upwards. Here.
Yours?
Here. Start to move here. Start to move upward. Yesterday and the last sessions, the pain was here.
Go ahead. What I want to say about that is, when you're breathing, first of all, what I was going to say, that is your primary task in all of yoga. That's how you do it. You gather the energy, you kind of agitate it, moving in the sphere, getting it moving, capture it, you keep it captured, you stick it into a point, and then when you're finished, you register what happened. So that you take a note of what happened. Otherwise, you just lose all the energy. Because we do a lot of energetic things like in the heart. If you don't stop and then feel what it did to the body, then you've lost all that effort. So all through yoga, no matter how far you go in this yoga, these are real simple classes, but there's hundreds of different exercises. That's your primary task. That's how you do it. Gather, create energy, get it moving, capture it, give it a center, and then note what happened. So all these other exotic postures, that's what you're going to be doing. Okay. Close off the left nostril. Got to do both sides. Does it hurt you to sit up like that? I mean, does it feel better to sit against the wall? Feels better? All right. But when you do it at home, you got to spend at least 5 minutes a day learning to sit up without a wall, because you got to build those muscles. Okay, but for this first class, we don't want you in pain. Okay, same thing. You're in the sphere. Now you're closing off the left nostril. Oh, one thing I want to say. This class was about stress. What you just did there, breathing through the left nostril. Left nostril is considered feminine. Right nostril is considered male. Relaxing, active. So what you did just there is in a full-on, when somebody is totally panicked and they're uptight and they're scared and panicky, or somebody can't sleep at night, breathing through the left nostril 5 to 10 minutes, completely calm you down. I can explain later or tomorrow how exactly that works in the nervous system. But that's your primary tool. When people are really, they can be in a full-on anxiety attack, and you just get them to sit down and breathe through the left nostril. In 5 minutes, they'll completely calm down. It works every time. Okay. What he's saying about his back, as you do these exercises, like I say, these things will bring up places that are locked. So don't worry about where you're feeling all these things. Because when you really start doing this and doing the heavy breathing and things, you're going to feel all kinds of sensations. And you can't log them all, and they don't really mean anything, because if you're like, this, focus on that, I've had that, blah, 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 by tomorrow it'll be gone. It'll be here, and the next day it'll be over here. The next day it'll be over here. So don't let your attention get, that's not the important thing. And nobody has ever logged all the symptoms, because they're unique to each person. Some of them are very painful, some of them are delightful, but they change. They change really quick. You're moving a lot of energy. You're using your mind to call on the life force, and you'll get it. And that's a powerful energy, and it starts moving through you, and it's going to show you everything. All right. So you're in your sphere. Now close off your left nostril. Same thing. You've got the hole down the right side of the spine. These are just 5 minutes, so whatever happens is only going to be 5 minutes. Okay, begin long, slow, deep breathing. Same thing. The sphere opens up like a balloon, collapses on the exhale. Now the breath's coming down that right tube. Use your imagination to visualize that tube and the air coming down. If you did this 7 days in a row, for like 10 minutes a day, you would begin to actually feel the flow deep inside the body. And now that's, the only way these things happen is you putting your attention there. How many other people in the city of Cairo are sitting there imagining breath coming down the right side of the spine on a tube? None. So it's like anything else. When you put your attention it's going to open up for you. Remember, each breath is a brand new opportunity to take in fresh life force, fresh energy. So you see, it's very important what you do with your mind and your imagination. Imagination is just as sacred as anything else in life, especially when we learn to use it correctly. Just thoughts. Everything you see around you was once a thought. All these buildings, all these patterns on the floor, is a thought in somebody's head. So thoughts are very important. Learn to control your thoughts. Full, complete breath all the way up into the collarbones. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Slight smile on the face. That's used to, there's a lot of tension in the jaw. And that'll open that up. Relax your shoulders, stay in your sphere, no thinking. Each breath is Allah. Okay, inhale. Hold the breath. Lower the arm. Let go of the nose. Sitting up straight, inhale more. Relax your shoulders. Let go of the nose. Lower your arm. Stay in your sphere. No thinking. Inhale more. Slight smile to the face. You see it causes more circulation up in the head. Center of the sphere is the belly. Let the body move or shake if it wants. Keep the center in the belly. Inhale more. And exhale. Inhale. Stay focused, stay in your sphere. Exhale. Okay, feel your body. Feel the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers, top of your head. Feel your whole body, how it feels different. Another 5 minutes of breathing. Just kind of take notes of yourself. If you feel any tightness, see if you feel any more pleasure in certain parts of your body. Keep the relaxation in your jaw. Relax the shoulders. Okay. And very slowly keeping your energy contained. So if you're trying to stay in your sphere the whole time, come down onto your backs. Going to listen to you. I have no authority here. I know you want to space out. You want to relax and space out, but we got to go through the whole class. You'll have a nice long relaxation space out at the end.
I don't have a noisy sound from the right side like this.
I know. On your backs?
Actually, I couldn't breathe from my right. No.
You
It
couldn't
was really hurt.
breathe to the right? We'll talk about that later. But it's nice because if you just breathe to the left, you get much more relaxed. You just might get a little more sleepy. Yeah, on your backs, you're going to be sitting, laying out flat, and you're going to be lifting your legs. So turn in the direction so you don't hit each other. So you should maybe face. Keep your energy contained. You're still building up energy here. Okay, first thing is you don't have that word, scooch. Explain to me what I mean by scooch. Scooch? Scooch. Lower back is flat. So 2 sets of muscles. One is to keep your stomach down, lower back flat, and the other is to extend out through the leg, pushing out. So if somebody's pulling you by the ankle, watch Hussein up here. This is what you got to do. Watch up here. All right. Right leg. As he inhales, the imaginary exercise is hollow legs. They're hollow. So the breath goes through them. So as he inhales the right leg, the breath goes inhale up. And then exhale out the foot, and there's a paintbrush, and paint's down the wall. Inhale left leg. And then exhale out. Paint's down the wall. That's what you're going to be doing. 5 minutes. Okay? Full deep breath. So when the foot is all the way up, the lungs should be completely filled. So remember I told you, the whole thing is we're building up energy and then you move it through the 5 limbs, the 2 legs, 2 arms, and the head. So we're starting to work on the legs now. All right? Begin. Inhale up, exhale, down. Full, complete breath. You don't have to do this fast. And I'm just going to play the drum as you're doing it. I might chant, I don't know. The point is, when you're doing a repetitious exercise, it kind of hurts. The mind wants to wander and go somewhere else. Don't let that happen. That's how you're building the energy up. Just keep the mind in that visualization. Down the hollow leg and out the foot. All the way up, straight up. Toes are spread. Toes are back and spread. Full, complete breath. I want the lungs completely filled when the leg is straight up. This chant that I'm going to do is a very old chant calling angels, the angels of the elements, earth, air, fire, water, space. Each element has its own angel. I know they believe in angels in Islam. These are good angels. These are earth, air, fire, water, space. Spread the toes. Toes are back and spread. Just from wearing all bad shoes and stuff, now you want to stretch those toes out. Back flat, extend out to the leg, no bend in the knees. Toes are back and spread. No thinking. Inhale, both legs up. Hold the breath. Up, all the way up, up, up. Use your arms if you have to. Use your hands. You can use your hands to keep your legs up. Inhale more. No bend in the knees. Push the energy down the legs into the toes. And exhale down, bend your knees. And then drop the legs down. It's perfectly still. And then this is what we call finding the pulse. Take your finger, stick it down into your belly button, into your navel. Push down. Feel the pulse down there, underneath your navel. Once you feel that pulse, you can take your hand away. But as you relax, it's important, no thinking, and just focus on that pulse. 50% of your awareness is through your entire body. You get that by, you feel the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers, top of your head. And then once you get those, the rest of the awareness will fill into the whole body. 50% is through the whole body, and 50% is on that pulse. Just feeling that pulse real deep, deep down into the body. No thinking. This is where you're training the subconscious mind to keep your energy down, your heat down, your thoughts down. So really make the effort. Every time your thoughts come up, just make the effort to stop. And just feel. Feel your body, feel the pulse. It's a very important place that when you came into the world, you were hooked into your mother's umbilicus. You were fed through this place in your body, belly button. This is how yoga works. You just bring it back to the awareness. What did I do in my body? You go in there, you tense it, you make it tight with the exercise, and then it goes into relaxing. There's hundreds and hundreds of chemical and neurological actions happening in the body as you go from tensing to relaxing. Get in there and start feeling it. And that's how you gain control of the body. Just feel real. Sometimes it'll just feel like heat transfers or little shocks. You get real deep, sometimes you'll see colors. And that slowly begins to give you control of your body. Just spending the time feeling. Okay, slowly come sitting up. With your legs out in front of you. If you haven't done these stretches, you may hurt a little, but that's what you're supposed to do. There is no word in the yoga text that translates to stretch. This doesn't exist. The word is asana. Asana means an opening from the inside. So the proper way, you can stretch one leg or the other. I'm sorry, there's no word stretch. You can do asana from the inside. The proper way to set it up is one leg out, here, turn over that leg, push the heel down into the ground. You know the word isometric? Can you explain isometric, someone?
Yeah, you say about asymmetric
In two different directions.
asymmetric. How is this asymmetric in the leg?
You're pushing down, so it's like this is tight, this is tight, this is tight, this is tight.
Okay.
So isometric as opposed to like building a muscle like that. Isometric is just tightening the muscle without moving.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're pushing down. The reason is you have some muscles in here that are tight. These are loose. Tight, loose. You want it to feel the same all the way through. It's called equal tension. Equal tension. Hollow legs. So you get the equal tension by just pushing down, maybe 2 pounds, not real hard. So we push down and it feels like all the muscles feel exactly the same tension. Then feel a hand in your lower back, keep your lower back straight, and then your chin starts going down. You don't come down like this, you go out this way. Use your hands on your leg. Come down to where it hurts and where it doesn't hurt. When it hurts, then back up just a little and then stay right on that edge. Stay right on the edge where it hurts and where it doesn't hurt. And then it just becomes a breathing exercise. Just about 3 minutes. Long, slow, deep breath. Breathe down that leg. Any place that's tight, imagine the bubble, the sphere. And it's like a balloon. You inhale into that where it's tight in the back of the leg. You feel it move. Stay perfectly still. What?
No, I'm just telling you to not do this.
Yeah. Just come down to the edge and stay perfectly still. By stillness and breath is how you build the nervous system. Because the nerves don't want to stay still. The nerves are always twitching. See how you're moving? Stay still. Breathe. Long breath. The disease called Parkinson's disease, where people shake. Everybody has that inside them. The nerves are always moving. So Parkinson's disease, they lose control of that. This gives you complete control to hold the nerves in stillness. I mean, perfectly still. This is the weightlifting of yoga. Don't worry about the stretching, no stretching. You take a big breath and then exhale, and you'll see that you come down naturally by yourself. So if you were to do this 10 minutes every day, the only way that you get better at it is by the breath. Every muscle in the body moves when you take a breath. So when you exhale, it'll let go by itself. Stretching means trying to push it, pull it. If you do that, it'll fight back and it'll get tighter. So you just open up by the breath. Stay on the edge and then stay still. The edge of where it hurts, where it doesn't hurt. Keep the lower back tucked in. Don't worry, this isn't about how limber you are. This is to feel the energy within the limberness that you have, within the stretch that you have. So you don't have to be putting your head down on your leg to be really good at this. It's awareness within the flexibility you already have. Okay, inhale, take a deep breath. Exhale, come down a little. And inhale up. Come up. And slowly switch legs. If you do other types of yoga, like hatha yoga, that's the proper way to set it up. Equal tension. As you do all these postures, these standing postures, and you put all your weight on one leg, and then all your attention goes there. You always have to keep your attention through the whole body. So this is tight, this is loose. Always set up your postures by equal tension. An isometric, tightening the muscle by itself, and it feels the same. And then you go into the movement. Then you start to stretch. Keep the lower back straight. So all postures in hatha yoga, that's the way you set it up. And your posture, your back is always straight, the lower back. And it's like a stick. Comes down this way. Okay, breathe. Find the edge. Where it hurts, where it doesn't hurt. If it hurts, just go back a little. And then that edge becomes your focus point. Breathing down the hollow leg. Once you find that edge, stay perfectly still except for the breath. It's only 3 minutes. So you're forcing yourself to stay perfectly still for 3 minutes. And that has a huge effect on the nervous system and the brain. So if we have jobs where we have to do a lot of thinking, you're sitting at an office in front of a computer and stuff and using your mind, and you're not moving that energy down into your toes. So we lose connection with our body. That's all we're doing is we're putting it all back together. So your breath, your thoughts, your imagination move through the entire body. In a spiritual sense, to feel oneness, and that's the first lesson of religion, of Quran. God is one. We can't feel that, the oneness, because we can't feel oneness in our own body. So we're just going back to that feeling of oneness in our own body, and then the rest will take care of itself. Full, long, slow, deep breath. perfectly still. One more minute. Take a deep breath and exhale, come down a little and inhale up. And then come back down to your back again. Keep your energy contained when you move. Just go from one posture to the next. Laying on your backs. Remember, each posture, you've got to bring your awareness to what did I do? What did I do? How does it feel? So as you're relaxing, go and feel your legs. So you're inhaling in your lower belly, and you're exhaling down your hollow legs. Long, slow, deep breathing. And just feel your legs. Feel the tingling in the toes. Feel the legs. Feel what you did. Feel them as they go from tensing to relaxing. Sometimes they'll burn, or they pop, or you'll feel waves. Just take note of any sensation you're feeling in your legs. And your toes. Feel if there's any places that they don't release, where the tension doesn't release, where it stays tight. And then you just take note of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just noting that, we'll change it over a couple of days. You say, look, if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. So all the postures do is they just bring out places that you haven't felt before. So that you can feel it, so that your mind gets a picture of it. And then when it all comes together, the mind, the breathing, the body starts to come together. It heals itself. That's what the body knows how to do. Okay. And rest up, slowly come sitting up. Sitting up against the wall, not against the wall. So remember, this is upward flow class. We started in the feet. First, you relax the nervous system with the breath, and then you start on the legs. So that, the frequency is that. All the tension in your legs, we start to move that down. Now we're going to start moving up the body. I'm going to start to work with your digestion, your sexual energy, and we'll start moving all that up. All the energy you have available now from your legs. I'm starting to grab that, so by the time you get up to the top of your head, you have a big charge of energy. So this, grab your front shin like this, and now you're moving the whole spine. So as you're inhaling, arch your forward, back. Still in your spirit. Still building the energy. Full breath. Mind wander. You're still in the sphere. The center of the sphere is your belly. You're pushing that belly button out and back. Full, complete breath. Breath is all the way up into the collarbones, into the upper back. Exhale, roots not doing their safest breath. So you're remembering that oneness. Your breath is part of that oneness. Now bringing your body back, oneness with that breath. Parts that are not part of that oneness, that feel separate, they become released on the exhale. You take in the fresh, it starts to move, circulation, creating circulation in places that are blocked and tight. All the old tension is let go on the exhale. Stay in the sphere. Stay concentrated on what you're doing. So the movement becomes a prayer. Exhaling, very movement, the breath, the whole thing is a prayer. A new way of praying. Praying with your whole body. Inhale. Hold the breath. Concentrate on your navel. Inhale more. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Stay in your sphere. No thinking. Let the body move if it wants. Let it shake. Let it pop. Inhale more. Concentrate on your navel. No thinking. We work the navel a lot because there's thousands of nerves, 72,000 nerves into the navel point. Inhale more. So you affect the whole body by concentrating on the navel. Very important parts. Where you were fed by your mother, where you feed your children. And when you relax, it opens. Exhale. And it opens up and allows you to take in more energy. You're still taking in food in your navel. Different kind, more subtle. Still in your sphere. And now we're going up into the organs. And watch this. As you're inhaling, watch me.